With so many types of stoves out there, and with all the different types of fuel, it can be hard to find the right one for you. But that's where we step in. I'm Shaun from simplyhike, and here's our camping stove guide. Fuel. There are 4 main types of fuel for all types of camping stoves, so let's break them down a little. Solid fuel, also known as hexamine, is a form of tablet fuel that are widely available and are lightweight. They are easy to light and are susceptible to the wind. The only downside is that you can't control the heat output. There are 4 different types of liquid fuel to look out for. The most traditional is meths, which cooks well but can be very messy. White fuel or coal fuel, which is distilled from petrol, is one of the cleanest fuels on the market, but it works best when pressurized. Paraffin fuel is said to be one of the safest fuels to use, but it can be hard to light and does take time to reach full heat. The last liquid is kerosene, which is another form of paraffin and works in the same way, but it really is the last resort fuel, to only be used in a multi-fuel setup. Gas fuel is one of the most common types of fuel to be used. It's safe and it can be stored separately from the stove. The fact that you can unscrew it from your stove, then reuse it later is truly awesome. And adjusting your heat to cook your food better is always a tick in my book. Natural fuel. With more and more travellers becoming eco-friendly over the past couple of years, wood-burning stoves have grown massively. They're now cleaner and cook better, and in some cases can transfer the heat into energy so you can charge your electrical devices. So that's the ins and outs of fuel. Let's take a look at different types of stoves. Backpacking stove. These types of stoves tend to be smaller and stronger and are designed for all weather conditions. If you're looking to camp in colder conditions, then try and buy a stove with less plastic attachments, as these can become fragile in colder temperatures. If you want to keep things as lightweight as you can, then take a look at buying an aluminium stove. They're lighter and more corrosion resistant. If you're looking for a quick cook setup, then look for a stove with a piezo or a quick start igniter. They are wind resistant and normally come attached to the stove, so you don't need to fiddle around with matches. And finally, if you want to keep it safe and more fuel efficient, then buy a stove where the gas canister is not directly beneath the flame. Gas cartridge stoves. Like I mentioned earlier, gas stoves are the most commonly used stoves in the camping world. This is because they give an instant flame, giving you a much quicker cooking time. No matter the brand, gas stoves are the most easiest stove systems to control, enabling you to cook how you want, all with ease. The massive plus that gas stoves offer is the fact that you can reseal most, if not all, gas cartridges, meaning they can be stored safely and away from the stove and are super easy to pack in your rucksack. And because gas stoves have been created universally, they are virtually maintenance free and are very long lasting. Meth stoves. Meth stoves are very traditional. If you've ever done a D&V, your first stove was no doubt a meth stove. The reason why they're popular is they're very simple to construct and operate. They've been built for reliability just like the gas cartridge, and just like the gas cartridge, they're maintenance free, making them a great choice for first time campers. It also helps that they are compact and lightweight, and most meth stoves nowadays can easily be converted to a gas stove down the line, making them also cost effective. The only disadvantage a meth stove has is that it has a low burning temperature and of course no flame control. MultiFuel stoves. If you're looking for a stove for all types of weather and to burn pretty much anything at any given time, then look no further than a MultiFuel stove. They can burn at very high temperatures, but at the same time are still very fuel efficient. As long as it's liquid fuel and can be pressurized, you can use it in the stove. Hence the name. The only real downside to a multi-fuel stove is that at times they can be tricky to put together, and depending on what fuel you're putting in, they can be expensive to run. The perfect fuel to run on a multi-fuel stove is white gas, most commonly known as Coleman fuel. It's clean and it burns reliably. And there we have it, our camping stove guide. Did we miss anything out? What advice would you give to a first time camping stove buyer? We'd love to know, so comment below. Don't forget, if you love watching this video, then give it a thumbs up, share it with your hiking buddies, and smash that subscribe button.